你们希望我来，我来了；你们希望合力对付我，现在我只有一人。
国师还是如此狂妄。
大军后方突然出现了许多带旗子的人，国师有伤在身，你能不能派些高手去支援？
倘若你让圣教帮助国师，我圣教都将在江湖上名誉扫地。
我们真能帮到国师吗？
城内竟有如此多的天人境强者，
大香就是你的葬身之地。
旧时代必须彻底摧毁，革命须得流血，须得万万人头落地。
什么东西啊？
山，是一座山，在天上飞。
Hello guys, how's everyone doing? Welcome back to my channel. Today, we're checking out the Tales of Herding Gods episode 74 spoiler. This part gets pretty interesting, so I thought, why not share it with you guys? All right then, let's jump straight into the story. Elder Fu took one look at the scene and knew when to bow out. He waved it off gently, saying he had to return stolen money to a few families. 2 of them had been hit so hard they'd be starving by tonight if he didn't hurry. And just like that, he was gone. Then Cripple and Old Ma came strolling over. Cripple looked downright radiant, like he just struck gold, while Old Ma had that calm, detached air of someone who genuinely didn't care about wealth at all. Qinmu laughed and invited them in, curious. Where'd these 2 disappear to for days? Old Ma answered plainly they'd gone to Liju for disaster relief. Cripple grinned and filled in the rest. Rebellion, chaos, starving people everywhere. They'd made good money and sent all of it away. The flashy clothes? Fake. The gold chain? Painted wood. Even the jade pendant? Not real. The real valuables had all been pawned for rice and noodles, sent straight to Liju. Even the Heavenly Devil cult had people there helping out, so they handed the rations over to them. Qinmu couldn't help but smile. So, Imperial Physician Yu accidentally did something decent for once? When Qinmu mentioned the devil summoning, Cripple perked up immediately, clearly entertained. Did it really happen? He shot Qinmu a teasing look. You didn't lose face and get tricked by some devil king, did you? He laughed and said Old Ma should have handled it. After all, Ma Wangshan had 3 eyes, and nobody subdued devils better. And right on cue, Old Ma's brow split open. A 3rd eye emerged, glowing with brilliant Buddha light, shining straight into Qinmu's forehead. Instantly, screeching screams erupted, a voice howling in terror, threatening that if it were refined to death, Qinmu would die with it. Qinmu panicked and blurted it out. Wait, we made a pact of Earth Count. The mood changed immediately. Cripple and Old Ma stiffened. Old Ma closed his 3rd eye at once, his expression turning grave. That was reckless, dangerously reckless. Did Qinmu even understand how treacherous a pact of Earth Count was? And with a devil god from another world, no less? Cripple shook his head, clearly frustrated. Why gamble your life like this? All Qinmu had to do was ask. They could have wiped the devil out easily. Qinmu, a little embarrassed, admitted he'd done it just to learn the language of Yudu. That earned another shake of Cripple's head. No pact was needed for that. He should have handed the devil to Butcher. 3 to 5 days, Cripple said casually. That's all it would take for Butcher to make any god or devil beg for death. Qinmu flushed harder but stood his ground. The pact was already sealed. No going back. He was going to summon the devils, and he'd need their help. Old Ma didn't hesitate. Fine, summon them. They'll deal with whatever shows up. So Qinmu headed straight to the Imperial College warehouse and bought a batch of bones. Around here, that wasn't unusual. Righteous, devil, or Buddhist paths all had techniques that needed human bones, so the stock was always there. He pulled out his talisman treasure, took a breath, and began the summoning. And honestly, at this point, you can't help but wonder just how far is Qinmu willing to go before this finally blows up in his face. The summoning itself? Surprisingly clean, smooth. The runes on the devil god sculpture flickered to life one by one, glowing steadily, and right away you could tell this wasn't anything like the nightmare back in Heaven Wave City. No blood-curdling pressure, no overwhelming dread crushing the air, which pretty much told everyone the same thing. Whoever was coming through this time? Yeah, not even close to Dutian Devil King's level. But then the sky above Imperial College changed. Boom! Majestic, violent magic tore straight through the heavens like something had punched a hole in the world. A black pillar of power came crashing down, aimed dead center at Scholar's residence, and that was all it took. Directorates panicked, scholars froze, even the Grand Chancellor snapped to attention. Across the capital, powerful cultivators turned their heads at the same time. You could almost hear the collective thought, what in the world is happening now? Back in Qin Mu's courtyard, things were still unfolding. The wooden devil god sculpture started cracking and expanding, stretching taller, thicker, alive. Then a growl rolled out, thick with arrogance. This petty, lowly world, prepare to welcome the wrath of Kya He, devil god of Dutian. Yeah, real dramatic entrance. And then, whoosh! Buddha light flooded the sky. A massive Buddha appeared overhead, calm and impossibly vast, settling into the air like it had always been there. One palm opened, huge, easily covering a hectare, and pressed down. Crack! Just like that. Before Kya He's consciousness or power could fully descend, the sculpture exploded into splinters. Gone. Erased. No struggle. No mercy. The entire Imperial College went dead silent. Then the tension snapped. Guards and cultivators across the capital relaxed almost immediately. Figures, they muttered. Of course Imperial College had monsters like this hidden inside. That level of Buddhist cultivation, even Great Thunderclap Monastery would struggle to match it. Yeah, this place wasn't to be underestimated. Gu Liunan arrived with several directorates just in time. Qin Mu casually popped his head out of the courtyard, smiling like he'd just finished a chore. Perfect timing, he said. A devil god just showed up. My elder already beat him to death. Gu Liunan's heart skipped. His smile didn't quite reach his eyes. Lord Qin, he said carefully, do be mindful. Don't destroy Scholar's residence. And then he turned, waving everyone off. Disperse. With Lord Qin's elder here, Imperial College is perfectly safe. And that's when everyone really got confused. Since when was Gu Liunan this easygoing? Summoning a devil in the capital was a straight-up death sentence, and yet here he was, backing off? People exchanged looks. Why isn't he causing trouble? Why is the Grand Chancellor letting this slide? Gu Liunan left quickly, cold sweat sliding down his back. Which elder was that? The blind one who raised rivers? The cripple who stole his sheath? Or that terrifying half-bodied old fiend? No wonder His Majesty warned him. Qin Mu wasn't someone you messed with. These monsters had walked out of the great ruins, and now the capital wasn't safe anymore. Qin Mu shut his door. That was the final straw. The directorates immediately ordered everyone out. Too dangerous. No one was to stay in Scholar's residence. If you died here, you wouldn't even know how it happened. The scholars didn't argue. After witnessing a devil god and a Buddha drop out of thin air, yeah, they packed up and vanished fast. Then, in Qin Mu's mind, a familiar voice echoed, irritated. Why aren't you summoning the other devil gods? Qin Mu shook his head calmly. I kept my promise. I summoned your subordinate. Now it's your turn. Teach me the language of Yudu. There was a pause. There are still 4 sculptures. 1 or 5, it's still summoning, Qin Mu replied smoothly. Half the oath is complete, and if you don't keep your word, Earthcount will drag you straight to Yudu. Silence. Then laughter, sharp and annoyed. Dutian Devil King laughed in anger. Clever. You were waiting for this, weren't you? Fine. I'll teach you the language of Yudu, but only 1 sentence. Qin Mu froze. The Devil King sounded pleased with himself now. I never said I'd teach you the whole language. I'll explain the words on this door, nothing more. As for your scroll, forget it. If you want the full language, go to Yudu and ask them yourself. And just like that, Qin Mu realized, yeah, he might have outplayed a Devil King, but the game was far from over. For the past few days, Qin Mu had been staying in that Saturn sovereign form, watching the gate's apparition more closely than ever. Little by little, the words carved into the gate sharpened, turning clear and readable. The door itself? No problem anymore. But the scroll? Still a blur, like it was deliberately refusing to be understood. And you know Qin Mu, when something doesn't make sense, he has to poke it. So he tried his luck. What if I summon the other 4 sculptures too? Would that be enough to get the writing on the scroll? No. Duqian Devil King shut it down instantly, no hesitation. Qin Mu just sighed, amused more than annoyed. Fine, no pushing it. Then teach me the sentence on the door. That's when things got weird. The Devil King let out a sound that didn't even feel like it belonged in the physical world. It was wrong, like it came from billions of twisted souls, all crying out at once. Qin Mu tried to copy it and immediately realized why it felt off. Humans couldn't make that sound, not with a throat, not with lungs. And yeah, that was shocking. Duqian Devil King laughed softly. Some languages aren't meant for lowly life forms like you, he said. Humans speak with their throats, but the language of Yudu, that wasn't where it came from. And right there, Qin Mu did something insane. He made a sound that didn't come from his throat. It came straight from his soul. The sound echoed eerily close to what the Devil King had made. And suddenly, silence. The Devil King froze. Alarm bells went off in his head. This kid figured it out already? Not just figured it out, but replicated it? If Qin Mu kept growing like this, yeah, that was dangerous. This one's too clever. He needs to die early. Qin Mu kept practicing, adjusting, listening, not with his ears, but with something deeper. After a while, it clicked, fully, cleanly. He had the sentence. He looked up, curious. So, what does it mean? No answer. He asked again. Finally, Duqian Devil King replied flat and casual. Gate of Earth Origin. Qin Mu paused. Gate of Earth Origin? He frowned. You're not lying to me. The Devil King chuckled. Why would I lie? That's exactly what it means. Yeah, no one bought that. Qin Mu's smile didn't quite reach his eyes. For Duqian Devil King to suddenly play nice, something was definitely off. Then Qin Mu changed gears entirely. Calmly, casually, he said, You can leave my body now. I already used winter crystal iron to make a god statue mechanism for you. You can enter it, move freely, summon whoever you want. The Devil King laughed. Trying to lure me out so that one-armed monk can kill me? Nice try. He wasn't stupid. Qin Mu didn't argue. He just turned to Old Ma, a cripple. Grandpa's, I'll reattach your limbs now. Old Ma frowned. If Qin Mu focused on that, the Devil King might escape. Why not just refine him to death now? Qin Mu shook his head, serious this time. I gave my word. I said I'd make him a god statue mechanism. I won't go back on it. Old Ma said nothing more. The bed was brought out. Old Ma lay down. Qin Mu retrieved the arm from the medicinal cauldron and got to work, fully focused. And that's when it happened. A spark shot from Qin Mu's brow, zap, and landed on the 8-armed, 4-faced god statue with a sharp sizzle. Cripple raised his eyebrow and grinned. I'll let this nuisance run 800 miles first. The Devil King took control of the statue instantly, and wow, he could move. Free at last, he bolted. He barely made it out of the courtyard. Clack. One step locked, then another, then everything. Clacking echoed through his entire body as hidden locks snapped shut. Arms frozen mid-air, one leg raised, unable to come down. Completely stiff, completely trapped. You bitch! You tricked me! The Devil King screamed from inside the statue, furious and humiliated. That's when Hu Linger peeked her head out, took one look at the frozen statue, and tilted her head. Didn't young master already tell you? He said it was a god statue mechanism. Looks like you got tricked by the mechanism instead. She smiled sweetly. Honestly, do you think young master is some kind of fox spirit? Keen Moo worked fast. Calm hands, clean movements. Old Ma's arm went back where it belonged. Cripple's leg followed right after. Once both elders were set, he lowered them into the medicinal cauldron, already filled with a thick, fully prepared decoction. The liquid bubbled softly as he told Hu Ling to stay by the side and keep the fire steady. No rush, no panic, like he'd done this 100 times before. Then Keen Moo stepped outside. The sky had already gone dark. The courtyard? Empty, dead quiet. Everyone had taken the hint and disappeared to hide from whatever disaster they thought was coming. Everyone, except one. Out in the alley by Scholar's residence, Dutian Devil King was still standing there, frozen stiff, stuck in that ridiculous pose. Keen Moo walked up casually and opened the god statue's stomach. Inside was a maze of gears, hundreds of them, layered and precise. He reached in and turned a few. Instantly, the Devil King felt his legs loosen. Freedom. He bolted. 3 steps. Clack. Locks snapped shut all over his body again. Keen Moo didn't even look surprised. "Big dragon," he said calmly. "Drag him back." The dragon Keelan wagged its tail, waddled over, and chomped down on one of the statue's legs. With a heavy scrape, it dragged Dutian Devil King across the ground and tossed him back into the courtyard like unwanted trash. Clang. "You bitch!" the Devil King roared. "If you've got guts, come fight me. What kind of hero locks someone in place?" Keen Moo ignored him completely, already busy mixing spirit herbs. When Dutian Devil King tried to fly, lightning exploded across the god statue's body. Runes flared, layer after layer, crackling with power. More cursing, louder this time. Those were sealing runes from Roland's Golden Palace. Keen Moo had learned them from the treasury and, snuck them onto the statue while building it. He hadn't taken any chances. If the Devil King was getting a body, it was going to be a cage. Once the herbs were ready, Keen Moo finally looked over at him, serious. He said, "Teach me everything you know about the language of Yudu, then I'll release you." The Devil King laughed harshly. "You think I'm stupid enough to believe you? I won't fall for that again." Keen Moo looked genuinely sincere. "We can sign another pact of Earth Count if that makes you feel better." "At ease your ass!" "Hey, why is a Devil King like you cursing like this?" "Cursin' your ass! If I believed you, I'd be the grandson of a turtle." Behind them, Cripple and Old Ma lay comfortably in the massive cauldron as the decoction bubbled and popped. "Little Fox," Cripple said lazily, "increase the fire." He squinted at the massive golden chain floating beside him, the gold plating nearly cooking off, then glanced at the still ranting Devil King in the corner. He chuckled. "This kid has really grown up. I thought we'd have to step in to deal with this nuisance. Didn't expect him to handle it himself." He shook his head, amused. "Now I'm not worried about him. I'm worried about whoever ends up standing against him. Honestly, who taught him to be this crafty?" Old Ma stared at him. Just stared. Cripple frowned. "What? Why are you looking at me like that? Got something on my face?" He shuddered. "Old Ma, were you a constable in your past life? Every time you look at me like that, my hair stands straight up." Old Ma finally looked away and spoke like he was talking about the weather. He said he'd been a constable for decades, later took a post in the justice office, and after cracking a massive case and getting famous for it, Great Thunderclap Monastery came knocking. That's when he quit the job and walked away, just like that. Cripple let out a soft laugh. So that's why. No wonder he always felt uneasy whenever Old Ma looked at him like that. Turns out those monks really were busybodies, tracking him down even after he'd already retired and gone back to living quietly. The night passed with the 2 elders soaking in the medicinal cauldron, steam rising, medicine bubbling. Keen Moo stayed up, changing the formula a few times, adjusting things carefully. By dawn, Old Ma and Cripple finally climbed out, washed up, and found breakfast already waiting. They sat together and ate like it was any normal morning. Hu Ling jumped in to help clean the bowls, and Cripple stood up with a relaxed smile, said it was time, they were heading out. Qin Mu hurriedly wiped his hands. Of course he'd walk him out. Old Ma waved him off at first. No need, he said. They were both relieved seeing how well Qin Mu was doing now. He could protect himself. That was enough. Cripple chuckled, leaning on his cane. Old Ma was getting sentimental again. If Qin Mu didn't come, he'd sulk for 2 or 3 days straight. Yeah, that decided it. They walked down the mountain together. Qin Mu reminded them, seriously, that the arm and leg had just been reattached. No forcing it. At least 1 or 2 years of recovery. Slow training, no shortcuts. Old Ma nodded quietly. Cripple sighed. After 20 or 30 years without a leg, suddenly having it back felt strange, almost uncomfortable. Old Ma agreed. After being disabled for more than half his life, his returned hand felt unnecessary, like something borrowed. At the mountain gate, Cripple smiled and told Qin Mu to head back. This was far enough. Old Ma added one last thing. Don't forget to come home for New Year's. Qin Mu nodded hard. He'd be back, no question. The 2 elders left the capital together. Cripple sighed as they walked. That little baby they'd picked up back then. He'd really grown up. They'd almost sent him away once. Old Ma nodded. Almost. Thankfully, Cripple had stolen him back. Cripple smiled faintly. He'd always worried Qin Mu might suffer out in the world, but now he could finally return to the village at ease. And then he stopped. Old Ma stopped too. Both of them looked ahead. On Mud River, right in front of them, a middle-aged man stood on the surface of the water. The river churned violently beneath his feet, but he didn't move at all, not an inch. Cripple raised an eyebrow, smiling like he was greeting an old acquaintance, asked if the Imperial Priester's injuries were healed. The Eternal Peace Imperial Priester nodded. They were. Then he returned the question. Old Ma rolled his shoulders, voice steady. They could still fight if needed. Cripple shook his newly restored leg inside. Qin Mu warned him not to use too much strength, but if it came to it, 1 leg would be enough. He looked at the Imperial Priester, still smiling, said it must have taken real restraint. He knew they were in the room back then, known Cripple was the one who stole his things, and yet he walked away and waited until now. That couldn't have been easy. The Imperial Priester answered plainly. Back then, he was injured, he had no choice. Besides, the 2 elders weren't evil, even their stealing had been for disaster relief. He didn't want unnecessary conflict. As long as they handed over the Emperor's disc, he'd leave it at that. No need to ruin a good relationship. Cripple blinked once. Imperial disc? Emperor's disc? Cripple and Old Ma glanced at each other and then smiled. That alone was suspicious. Cripple shrugged like it was no big deal. He'd studied that so-called Emperor's disc for over 20 years and gotten nowhere. A useless toy. Giving it away didn't bother him at all. Oh, and yeah, he'd already gifted it to someone else. That made the air shift. Gifted it away? Above the Eternal Peace Imperial Preceptor's head, stars suddenly lit up, forming a bright, flowing river in the sky. That calm, unreadable expression? Gone. His heart was clearly no longer steady. He asked the question slowly now. Who did you give it to? Cripple chuckled, already turning away with Old Ma. The Palace Grandee of your Eternal Peace Empire. And with that, they left. The Imperial Preceptor stood there stunned. The Palace Grandee? His mind raced. That man actually dared to take it? Was he planning rebellion? The Emperor's disc wasn't just an artifact, it symbolized imperial authority itself, a divine gift to the founding emperor. And worse, there were rumors it hid a deeper secret. He stood there on the river's surface for a long while, muttering to himself. Should he demand it back? Should he act now? In the end, he shook his head and turned away. Power, after all, wasn't decided by an object, not even the Emperor's disc. True imperial authority came from the people. The artifact didn't change that. Back at Scholar's residence, Qin-Mu poured out the medicinal decoction and got to work cleaning up. Cauldron, furnace, scrubbed again and again until not a single stain remained. Once they were spotless, he set them out in the sun to dry. Hu Linger was helping when she suddenly froze. Her eyes landed on a jade hoop sitting quietly on the table. "Young master, the elders left something behind." Qin-Mu stepped over and picked it up. The markings on it felt familiar, too familiar. His expression shifted. "This is Grandpa Cripple's Emperor's Disc." Back when he'd entered the darkness with the village keep, Cripple had hung it around his neck. Qin-Mu hadn't even needed to use it. And now, it was here, left behind? That didn't sit right. Cripple never lost things, ever. Qin-Mu tied it to his jade pendant, thoughtful. "I'll return it when I go back to the village." Then he dragged Du Tian Devil King over, opened the god statue's stomach, and adjusted the gears inside, just a few changes to their orbit. He closed it and said calmly, "Devil King, you can move now." Du Tian Devil King sneered, "I'm not moving. You think I trust you, little brat? Wait until my true body descends. I'll make your life a living hell." Hu Linger immediately popped up, paws on her hips. "My young master has 100 ways to make your life a living hell." Qin-Mu glanced at her amused. "Linger, 100 is way too few." The Devil King laughed, arrogant as ever. "Go on, try me. If I get scared, I'd disgrace my tens of thousands of years of cultivation." Qin-Mu sighed, genuinely trying to reason with him. "Why make this harder than it needs to be? We're both from the devil path. Just teach me the language of Yudu and I'll let you go. That's a fair deal." "Bah!" Du Tian Devil King spat. Qin-Mu's smile thinned. "Then I'll send you to Hall of Asian Yang. I'll let Monk Fa King chant scriptures at you every day. He loves redeeming devils." The Devil King sneered back. "Redeem me? I'm a devil who became a god. Let that monk come. I'll turn him into a devil first." Qin-Mu hesitated. That wasn't impossible, and that was the problem. Hu Linger tilted her head, confused. "Young master, then why hasn't he turned us into devils?" The Devil King exploded. "You little fox, do you need my help? You were devils from the beginning. Fine, I admit defeat. Just end me already." Qin-Mu shook his head gently. "I'm not that kind of person." Then he looked at Hu Linger. "Linger, let him follow you from now on. I'll teach you how to control the mechanism." And just like that, the Devil King realized something far worse than defeat. He wasn't getting out. He was being managed. So guys, that was the episode 74 spoiler. If you enjoyed it, make sure to hit the like button and tell me in the comments which episode you want next. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys!